Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be bringing you another recipe for a homemade hiker's meal. This time, it's chicken with Thai peanut sauce. Please click like and subscribe to join my hiking family. In researching different ingredients for different types of homemade hiker's meals, I came across a few ingredients that I thought looked really interesting, but didn't quite fit what I was looking to do at the time. But I got them and I started playing with them to figure out what I could do with them to make a meal that was not only nutritious, but also very tasty. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my recipe for chicken with Thai peanut sauce. Now the challenge with homemade hiker's meals isn't in finding ingredients. It's not in finding something with nutrition. It's not in finding ingredients with flavor. The challenge is to find ingredients that are dried or dehydrated that will rehydrate easily and quickly and are packable and won't spoil. So that's the challenge that I've found in creating all these different recipes. So I intend to bring you more, but today let's get into what I've come up with for this recipe. Like my very first homemade hiker's meal episode, I start with ramen noodles because they've got some protein in them and they carry a lot of carbs. So if you're hiking a trail that's very challenging, like the Appalachian Trail, they'll help keep you going. So in goes the ramen noodles. Now this, you're going to want to crush it up because it helps everything hydrate more quickly and makes it easier to spoon. So I found trying to eat noodles with a fork out of a pouch aren't all that friendly. It's not all that easy to do. So you just want to crush it up enough to make sure that everything fits well inside the packet, which will also help make sure that there aren't any punctures that will allow air to get in. Still okay, but you don't want to have it let air in later if you can help it. Next, I add Mountain House freeze-dried diced chicken. If you've seen any of my other homemade hiker's meal episodes, you'll probably remember the Mountain House freeze-dried ground beef. I've had such success with that when I knew I needed chicken, I had to try the Mountain House freeze-dried chicken. And actually, I like it better than the ground beef. This actually has a texture like fresh out of the oven chicken breast. So this works out really well. I love this ingredient. So back to the handy dandy kitchen scale. I put my dish on it and then I zero it out. And I'm going to add 20 grams of the freeze-dried chicken. Now it doesn't look super appetizing right now, but it looks, feels, and tastes just like it's fresh within the recipe. And there's 20 grams of freeze-dried chicken. Now you can add more if you want, because it certainly can't hurt. And the sauce ends up actually a little watery, more so than it does if you were to make it fresh. But the object is to get that flavor, and you want to make sure you have enough water in the packet to properly hydrate everything. Next, I add some Frontier Co-op freeze-dried vegetables. And again, if you remember my first episode, these are the same vegetables that I add to that. I add them for a little bit of nutrition and some more texture. Now, in goes 1 tablespoon of the freeze-dried vegetables. And again, you can add more of this if you want, or less if you want to go keto, or more keto. But again, it's just for a little bit of flavor, a little bit more nutrition, and some more texture. Now it's time to build the sauce. I start with PB Fit peanut butter powder, and I do 2 tablespoons of this. And here goes the 2 tablespoons of peanut butter powder. Now I actually tried a little bit of this just as peanut butter, or just as the powder, just to see if it just tasted like peanut dust, but no, this stuff actually tastes like peanut butter. You want to pack it down because you want that peanutty flavor, and it will help thicken the sauce after you're done. Next comes the coconut milk powder, and I do 1 tablespoon of this. And here I go with the 1 tablespoon of coconut milk powder. Next, I put in 1/2 of a teaspoon of soy sauce powder. Now, if you need to go gluten-free, you'll probably want to eliminate this ingredient because soy sauce tends to have some gluten in it. But you can make this meal gluten-free if you use the freeze-dried potato shreds that I did in my gluten-free episode where I did my cheesy potatoes. So this meal can be had gluten-free. And 1/2 teaspoon soy sauce powder. Next comes one of the most challenging ingredients I had to find, the powdered lime. It adds a brightness and an authenticity to this flavor, so it doesn't just taste like peanut butter sauce. It actually has that true Thai peanut sauce flavor to it. And I do 1/2 teaspoon of this. And then finally, 1/2 teaspoon of powdered lime. Now you want to give this a shake to help make sure everything's more evenly distributed, and you'll want to stir this quite a few times before you eat it. But the sauce will build itself quite rapidly because, again, it does get a little watery. I add 3/4 of a cup of water, near boiling water, into this. And it hydrates the noodles and the chicken very well. And the sauce, while being a little runny, still has a great flavor. Because you'd rather have slightly runny sauce than dry ingredients in your meal at the end of the day. Next, I add an optional ingredient just for extra nutrition. I do 1/2 tablespoon of nutritional yeast. You can do more or less depending on your flavor, but I didn't want it to affect the flavor of the sauce. I just wanted the extra nutrition. If you're going keto, you probably want to eliminate this ingredient because it does contain quite a few carbs. But the rest of the recipe is quite keto friendly. As a general rule, we're only looking at about 7 to 8 carbs in the sauce. And I am working on a keto recipe, so the bulk version of that, the bulk of that meal will work well in this in place of the noodles or the potato shreds. And in goes the nutritional yeast. Because of all the vast nutrition this stuff carries, I've started adding this to all of my hikers' meals. I discovered it when I was looking for ingredients for the vegan hiker's meal, just for the protein value, but I was blown away by the amount of nutrients in this thing. So I use nutritional yeast in all of my hiker's meals now. But again, if you're going keto, you'll probably want to eliminate this one. And then to finish, just as a garnish and to add a little bit of texture and more authenticity, I add about 2 tablespoons of chopped peanuts. So again, I don't really measure them, I just chop them up. It's just for that authentic flavor and texture. There you have it. That's all I need for my homemade packable chicken with Thai peanut sauce. If you follow the link in my description, I always put a link to the page that I share on my website, trailnameace.com, for whatever video is shown on the page. Because underneath the videos, I have affiliate links through Amazon as to where you can buy all the ingredients and all the gear I review, other than the stuff you can easily get at the grocery store. So these harder to find ingredients, I always post to Amazon so that you can create this without having to go through the grief I had to go through to find them. So anyway, we take this. If you've been following along, you know I always use my Food Saver vacuum sealer. You want to make sure there's no powder in there so that you can get a good seal. With my cut down pouch, again, if you haven't watched the other videos, I recommend you going back and watching them, because I have something to share on each of them and new ingredients, different ingredients. But I always share my Food Saver vacuum sealer, because this thing, it allows you to pour near boiling water into it, so you're not dirtying up your camp pot, so you don't have any cleanup. Because what I found on my very first section hike is if you are stuck on top of a mountain 4 miles from your water source and you have half a liter left, you don't want to have to wash dishes, and you certainly don't want to have food smell free and available for bears to smell. So these, I cook them in the pouch. I just pour the water in it, I eat it out of the pouch, roll it up, and put it in my Ziploc trash bag to reduce the possibility of bears smelling our food. So that's why I push the Food Saver and the Food Saver bag system. Is ease of use, no cleanup, and a reduction in the possibility of wildlife smelling your food. So we switch it to operate and just hit the vacuum seal button, and it sucks all the air out. And the red light, if you follow it along, you know that's doing the heat seal on the bag now. And after it goes off, you click it to open. And I always put a second seal on. So there's a strip right here. That's the heat strip. So I put a second seal on it just to make sure that it stays sealed. And then you just hit the seal button. And that's it. And it's that easy. And you can see this is a meal. Lots of nutrition, good amount of calories, takes up almost no space in the pack. It's not flexible. It doesn't have any air in it. So these I have found to be much more efficient and cost effective than going to the store and buying packable meals. There you go. Ready to go on the trail. Chicken with Thai peanut sauce. And that's how I create my homemade packable chicken with Thai peanut sauce. Do you have any packable meals that you create that you'd be willing to share with us? Leave a comment below. If you have any other questions or comments, please send me an email to trailnameace@gmail.com or leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Be sure to visit trailnameace.com to find links to products I've reviewed. Thanks for watching, and keep hiking!